Hello and welcome back to City Skylines 2, where last time we started this brand new city. And this time my main goal is simply to expand it a bit and start making some money. Because right now we are losing a lot of money per hour, basically 12,000 per hour, that's a lot. And I think the main reason why we are still losing money is simply because there isn't enough people in this area. So basically I have already placed all of the services early on, and there just isn't enough people that use them, so it's quite unbalanced, and the upkeep costs are just simply too much. So I believe that if I just expand the city enough, then I will eventually start making money. Of course this theory could be wrong, but I guess we will see about that. I will be expanding in this direction over here. So let's just start off by zoning in this little bit that I already have all gridded out, and then move on to this side. And actually, since I want this area to be mainly low density, and I have a pretty big demand for medium density right now, I will rezone one more of these rows to row houses. And so while we are waiting for a bit more demand and zoning this whole area in, I will do another thing that I have been wanting to do for quite a while. And that is connecting this residential area and this industrial area up with another road. So I will just bring a bridge across here, and it should look pretty nice. Oh shit, that's a tornado. Okay. Good thing it's not on the city, hopefully it doesn't come this way. Well, anyways, another thing I wanted to do is actually make a walkway along this river here. And I want to do that by using these pedestrian streets. So let's do that as well.
I wanna know your dark side. I wanna know your secrets. I wanna be your lifeline. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Tell me you're more than just a highlight. Pretty pictures on the outside. I hate to stare at you through these lights. So I wait for you.
So now we have a sort of coastal walkway along the coast of the river, or the lake, or whatever this is. I guess it would be a lake. And well, these are still kind of a pain to build, especially these kind of key wall areas. but at least it's possible in the vanilla game. Earlier it wasn't even really possible. Oh, I forgot to smooth this area out, so... And yeah, so now it's time to keep expanding the population. We have already grown the population quite a bit actually, and we are already losing way less money than before. So let's just grow the population a bit more, and I think we should start making money. And we just unlocked a new signature building, which is Vertigo Square. Looks like it's meant for some row houses, which, I mean, I'm okay with that. We have a lot of row houses, like we just zoned in a few more here. So let's just zone in a bit more on the other side here as well, and maybe I can place this unique building. I feel like expanding the city like this, by upgrading the lower density areas to higher densities as you go, instead of just zoning in high density right away. I think that's way more of a kind of natural way to progress the city. Because when you think about it, in real life the same thing happens. Areas get purchased, they get redeveloped, and usually they get redeveloped to some higher density. So, for now I prefer doing this kind of expansion. Although it doesn't really look like much of an expansion, because I'm not really adding much, I am upgrading quite a lot of this to higher density, so I am still gaining a lot of people from that. And I think that somewhere in here on this side will be the perfect spot for this building. I'll just place this right here, and that's a pretty perfect spot for it, in my opinion. And one more thing I wanted to do to make a bit of money is to place a forestry area, because we do have quite a lot of forests here, and we can use them. So I will just extend this junction to the other side as well, and let's just put a forestry building right over here. Let's try to make it not invisible, because somehow it can turn invisible from time to time. And let's make a really big forestry area here. Just like that. Right now it's still not operating because it doesn't have any workers yet, so we can see, oh never mind, it already started working a little bit, and we are already producing a big surplus, but it will be producing way more than this. And we could even place a little bit of industrial right across the street from here, and hopefully we can get some industrial buildings that use wood. I think we can kind of force ones that required wood to spawn by just demolishing all at once. Oh damn. Okay, so now we have a forest fire, I guess. That's spreading pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like these trees in the middle are actually burned that much. Oh, so a few of them are, but not all of them. Oh, or maybe, yeah, so if I click on them you can see this tree has burned down in a fire, although it still looks green. So I guess, well, this game just came out, I guess they haven't added textures for burned down trees yet. I'm not even really sure what I can do about this. Like, if I look at my firehouses, I could unlock a fire watchtower, but then I would need a helicopter depot as well, no? Otherwise, how would cars get into the middle of the forest there? Well, but you know what, let's actually kind of test it out, and let's unlock the fire watchtower. Oh, and yeah, and the next one is the firefighting helicopter depot. So let's just unlock this. But let's not unlock this actually, because I would imagine that the upkeep is pretty high, yeah, 145,000. and even the fire watchtower's upkeep is quite big. Let's just place one over here for now, just in case a forest fire breaks out in this area. But it does actually need electricity, so just take some powered lines, and let's make them underground actually. That way the whole look is a bit more clean. Let's just connect it up. Okay, so we're still losing 2300 per hour. That's still way less than at the start of the video, but we need to start making money, as I said. And my idea was to actually replace some of these commercial buildings that are next to these row houses with some of these mixed-use buildings, but I have not actually unlocked them yet, so I'm kind of waiting on that. I need Tiny Town, which is level 5, and that's pretty close actually. I need only like 800 more XP. So for now, let's just hold off on placing any high density, and let's just keep expanding with middle and low density. And I want this area down here along the coast to also be a little bit of a higher density than the other parts of the city. So I will actually already be rezoning this whole square to medium density, but I actually want to try out the North American medium density houses. I want to see how they look, because so far I have only used the European ones. And let's actually unlock these map tiles along the edge here, because otherwise I can't access this all the way up to the beach. And I also couldn't access it before to flatten it, so now I think I will just flatten it. Although actually I could leave a slight hill over here for kind of a park. But I will flatten the rest of the area. And of course I can't fit another entire grid square in here, so I will do kind of a half one. So how do these American row houses look? Well, they actually look quite nice. And we just unlocked Tiny Town, which I was waiting for. And with that we unlock two pretty important things. One of them is mixed-use housing, and the other one is actually vegetable farming. Of course, there's also communications, and with that comes the radio mast and the post office that we have to place. But yeah, as I said before, I want to place some mixed-use housing in place of some of these commercial buildings here. And I also want to place some vegetable farming in this corner of the farmland over here. So let's just start off with placing the vegetable farming and then move on to more expansions. Now we won't actually get that much vegetables from an area this small, but it's still better to have just some. Yeah, and so now let's place some of this mixed-use housing. I think for now I'll just replace one side of it because it is quite high density and it probably won't zone in too easily. So let's place it right here. And yeah, that is quite a tall building, might actually be the tallest in the city so far, if it's taller than those apartments over there. Okay, now this seems pretty unrealistic. How is there only 45 households in this one, but 145 in this one, which is basically 2 times smaller? Doesn't really make sense, but I mean, it's better than in City Skylines 1, where you would have multiple households in these single family houses and way too little in these big apartments. Yeah, and so now we are getting some of these buildings, which actually, wow, they look perfect for this area. Did I leave it on the American style? No, it's on European. Or is it? No, it was on American. Yeah, it was on American. So let's compare that to European actually. Let's see which one I like better for this city. So let's rezone this area, although we don't really have demand for kind of high density buildings yet, and I think mixed use counts as high density. But still, let's just zone this in and see what appears. Let's just check back on that in a little bit. And now let's zone in this bit over here as well. And I will want to upgrade this area along the coast to much higher density, because I mean realistically that's usually how it is. There is bigger buildings along the coast, especially if it's a touristy area. And this corner here will be a park as well, and actually I can make that right now. We can actually place this, which is a campfire site, which is the biggest park available here. But I could unlock large parks. Actually, that is what I will do. Let's go to development. Let's go to parks. Let's unlock both park maintenance and large parks, as well as sports parks, I guess. Maybe I will want to place some of those as well. So let's check now. Okay, so they are really large. And this one doesn't actually really fit, but that's only because of this part that I just placed. So I can actually demolish that. I can place in the park here, just like this. Parks don't have any upgrades, right? Yeah, no they don't. And now I can actually place this part kind of around this park, like this. Going around the hill, we will have smaller paths going up the hill. For now, just like this. And another thing I wish they would add is the ability to connect these paths that are inside of the park to outside areas like that. I mean, in City Skylines 1, there was some parks that you could do it with, but even the parks that you couldn't do it with, you could still just use road anarchy and stuff like that to place some paths through them to make it at least look like these paths are continuing. Like for instance, I would definitely want to continue these paths like out to the bottom here, and these ones to the sides as well. This one to the right side as well, probably. So yeah, that's another thing that I feel is kind of missing from the game, but I really hope they add it eventually. And now these European mixed-use houses are zoned in. And yeah, they look really good as well. But I think for a city like this that is mainly in a grid, I think the American ones actually look better for this area specifically. So let's actually grab the American ones and let's unzone this. Let's demolish these houses. And let's just place the American ones. Yeah, and this one has 50 households and 20 employees as well. This one has 16 households and 12 employees. Makes sense because it's smaller. And I have been seeing that people are complaining a little bit about unreliable healthcare coverage. And if we look at the medical clinic, we can see that, well, it's just far away from everything, basically. It's over here, and if it needs to go all the way to here, then it's a bit too far, so I don't think upgrades will actually do much, because it's not being overwhelmed. I think if we want to solve that, we will actually need a second medical clinic. Somewhere in this area over here. But I don't really have the capacity to place that right now, so we'll just expand a bit more and wait until I start to make money, and then we can maybe place that. And in the meanwhile, while I was talking, we got some of these buildings zoned in as well. Yeah, they fit together really nicely. I like how that looks. So we can also have a park in this area as well. Okay, large playground isn't actually very large. The large city park also isn't very large. I'll just place another one of these large plazas here. We can also place some more stuff around here, I guess. We can place a tennis court, a gym as well on this walkway here. Maybe even a skate park next to the gym. And let's do a basketball court as well, why the hell not? Let's actually place a few more things over here as well. Like for instance, the gym I saw was really small. We can fit one of those in there. And can we even fit a basketball court in here? No, doesn't really look like it. Well, that's fine. I guess the next logical step would be to expand upwards, but you can see that I actually left this area unflattened. That's because I want to make kind of a natural park in here. It's a nice little area with a bunch of hills. So let's just take a road along the side of this, break the grid a little bit as well. Although maybe I should make the grid first, so that the grid roads are older and take priority when zoning comes. Now we actually have a bit of demand for high density again. And of course the highest density area is gonna be in the middle here along the main road, so let's start off by expanding this bit. Yeah, and just like that, our high density demand is gone already. And I am actually making the economic situation quite a bit better, but the way the game is balanced is with these kind of government subsidies, which basically make sure that your city doesn't lose too much money at first. And these have been steadily reducing throughout the episode so far. So we basically need to reduce these to almost zero or close to zero, and only then we can start actually making money. And also I have been noticing that a lot of these workplaces are actually missing well-educated workers. And that is because I don't have a college or a university in the city. I only have a high school and an elementary school. But the college's upkeep is quite high, so it would be quite risky to place it. But I think I still might just place it. I'll place it probably in this higher density area, maybe even next to this cemetery here. And it is quite a risk because it might lose me money in the short term, but might actually make me a lot of money in the long term. So let's see about that. Right now we're losing 2,900 per hour, so let's just place it and see what happens. And hopefully, as time goes on, some people start getting educated in here and fill in these positions in all of the stores, like, for instance, if we look at some bigger store like over here, for example. Okay, well, that's a bad example, but over here, they do require a lot more well-educated workers. So hopefully, when they have them, these stores level up and make me a bit more money. So now we're losing 6,000 per hour, so that's pretty bad actually. And I don't actually really understand why these are complaining about high rent. Because I mean, this is an industrial area, like, it shouldn't have high rent in theory. And high rent happens when land value rises from my understanding, so if we just look at the land value here, it should be low, and it is. It's all white. But the building land value is actually kind of in the blue and in the green, when it really shouldn't be. And for some reason this building land value is really bad. Well, let's just hope that they don't get abandoned, so yeah. And also, because I don't have these education services, I can't exactly zone in that much offices. Because they will just be missing employees. From my understanding, the offices require way more well-educated workers and highly educated workers as the regular commercial buildings. So yeah, let's just keep rezoning areas, like for instance this one over here. Let's switch back to the European theme, just to keep it a bit more consistent, and let's keep expanding.
Living in the same routine, like the seasons I'm on repeat. It's a long way down. Trying not to follow suit. Don't let the color outchange the shape.
Maybe I should actually place a bit of parking now. I still have yet to unlock the parking space upgrade, so maybe I should. let's unlock parking areas, and let's also unlock road services. So another thing I would like to place is also the taxi depot, so that people can get around easier. But first let's just start off with some parking in this higher density area next to the stores, like over here for example. We can actually squeeze just a few more row houses in here. And now let's just place the road maintenance depot. It doesn't produce any pollution, just some noise pollution, and only a small amount of that as well. So maybe I could even place it in the city, somewhere over here for example. Yeah, now the vehicles are starting to be in use, and they are repairing all of the roads, with the condition of which was really bad. And so the other thing I want to place is a taxi service with the dispatch upgrade, so that people could get around a bit more easier, and maybe even that will help out with this not enough customers issue. It only produces low noise pollution. I guess I could even place it right here. So now we need to give this taxi depot the dispatch center upgrade, which allows the taxis to pick up passengers all over the city, not just at dedicated taxi stands. And like that it can basically just work automatically. And then another thing I wanted to do to maybe make a bit of money for the city is introduce a roadside parking fee. Because right now we barely have any parking lots, so people are just choosing to park on the streets instead of in the parking lots where there's also a fee. So I'll just introduce a roadside parking fee, and that should actually start making us quite a bit of money throughout the entire city. If we look at our education panel, you can actually see that the education is pretty good on this side of the city, but really bad on this side. And since I'm actually planning to make this area here a bit higher density in the future as well, I think it's just the right thing to do to place another elementary school. The upkeep for it is only 15,000 per month, so it shouldn't affect our finances too much. It should help this area grow quite a bit. And we can also upgrade it with the playground, I guess. Let's also place a radio mast somewhere, or maybe even a few, just so we can have some internet coverage. I guess we need to have good coverage in the high density area. So let's place one somewhere around here for instance. And their upkeep is only 5,000 a month, so I guess I could even place one in the industrial area, like for example over here. Oh, and we hit Boomtown. That gives us basically textile fiber farming and a bit more policies. And I guess we could even have a third radio mast right here next to the school, why not? And that gives us pretty good coverage all across the entire city. Oh, but we are making money now. What changed? What did I do differently to be making money all of a sudden? Well, I'm not sure, but I guess we're now making money. So the idea is that maybe they actually don't have enough job opportunities in this area here, because all of the job opportunities are mainly in the middle here. So maybe I could... okay, this building's on fire, but a fire truck has already arrived. So my idea is basically to just place a bus depot somewhere and just make a really basic bus network for the city. Nothing really too complicated, maybe just 2 or 3 lines, but just to make sure that people in this area can actually get to the middle of the city here and have enough job opportunities.
When it falls in the wind, you know, and you say you wanna dance, you're worried, you know, you'll end up in the wrong hands, and you're having fun. Why don't you...
And just like that we have a pretty basic public transportation network. This should allow the people that live over here to go over here, get jobs here, and maybe get more job opportunities. And maybe this area will get a bit less abandoned because of that. And now we actually have a bit of demand for high density again. So let's keep building up this area in the middle here with more high density.
Falling in love just a million times,
It looks like these people here that really want a mail service. I mean, it's giving negative 15 for unreliable mail service, which is a lot. So let's place a mail building. The main post office will just be here on the side of the city, and then we will fill in the rest of the area with a bunch of mailboxes. So yeah, that should be fine now. And actually we could even upgrade this road with some trees. So let's place a bunch of grass in the middle first of all, and now let's place some trees in there. Yeah, and that looks quite a bit nicer than before. And I wondered, are these trees saplings as well? It looks like it, so I guess these ones will have to grow up as well. Let's actually rezone a bit of... oh, well, I just accidentally unzoned a lot of stuff. Okay, but what I was gonna say is, let's rezone some of these areas around all of these stores as a little bit higher density buildings. So yeah, let's just wait for all of this area to be zoned back in. And we do have some nice apartments here as well now. And this landfill here is actually starting to fill up quite a bit. Seems like it's not really processing garbage enough. So let's add this hazardous waste collection point to it. So hopefully it can process the garbage in it a bit faster. So hopefully one of those is enough. I don't actually know how to check if it will be enough or not. But now we are processing 3 times more. It used to be half a ton per month, now it's 1.5 tons per month. Oh, here I can see how much garbage I'm producing and processing. Yeah, so that's not even close to enough. I'm producing 30.7 tons per month, but only processing 1.7. So yeah, I will need to think of some different solutions for garbage as well, which I can actually unlock right away just to have a look at them. I will not place any of them yet, but since I will need to place them soon anyways, then I can unlock them. I think that the incineration plant is a bit more worth it, but actually since we don't need any electricity for the city right now, we're still producing way too much of it. I think right now the correct choice is actually the recycling center. So let's just unlock that and see how big it is. Oh, it's not that big actually. Yeah, I'll be able to place it somewhere around here. And so with that we have now achieved our main goal for this video, which was to start making money in the city. We are now making, well, only a little bit, only 1,500 per hour, but we're not losing money anymore, and that's the main thing. So the city is now slowly gaining money, and it seems to be pretty stable. We were gaining a bit more earlier actually. And yeah, the city is coming along pretty nicely. We are now starting to expand this area down the main kind of road, I guess you could say, with some higher density buildings that give this whole area quite a nice look. Of course, it's quite snowy right now, and I think that's actually beautiful as well. And we also expanded all the way into this area. All of this here is new as well, with some higher density buildings in the middle here as well. Yeah, our main goal was to start making money in the city, and we have done that. So in the next episode I will probably start expanding more upwards into this kind of peninsula here. I might also, well, I don't know about this yet, but I might also connect up to this highway and maybe even bring a highway road across here so that we have some better connections, because right now all the connection we have to the rest of the city is just one single 4-lane road. And as the city expands and as the buildings become higher and higher density, that's just not gonna be sustainable. Yeah, so that will basically be it for this episode, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.